Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Let's Talk The Walking Dead. Episode 4 being Some Guy.
Some guy.
Not woman, not man.
I mean, some guy.
It's just some guy.
It's just some guy.
I'm Alec,
I'm CJ.
And I'm Dale.
and let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So the episode opens on Ezekiel's speech from last time, when he was talking with Carol in the forest. And yet I smile. What did you guys think about the kind of the pullback from that?
I feel like in this instance, the pullback made a lot more sense than it did in the earlier episodes. Because
Right.
it felt a little jumbled in the earlier episodes, how they kept pulling back to, like, the earlier sequences and, like, that dream sequence in the first episode. But here I felt it worked really well and kind of gave some little bit of backstory, not so much backstory, but some insight into what they were feeling before they went in there. And to see that stark contrast as to how Ezekiel was feeling and what he was kind of processing towards the end of the episode, I feel like was a good kind of contrast there.
I agree.
Nothing more to add. You just agree.
It was good to see, that before where, he's, pumping everybody up, we're not going to lose anybody, to it cutting to everybody's dead.
Well, I was talking about, like, for me, when he opened up with the speech in the town, it being the same speech that he had in the forest before they all died, it gave it, like, it's something very important to Ezekiel's, and it kind of, like, it hammered home the importance of that particular speech wherever he got it from. We don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, it seems like it was almost something that he was recalling from, like, an old past friend or something like that. And
I wouldn't be surprised if it was something they stole from, some sort of play or something, because that's part of Ezekiel's backstory.
Right. So I thought it was cool that we kind of got to see that. And since it was mirrored in a way that it was said twice, it makes me definitely think that it's got some sort of significance to it. But whether or not we'll be able to find that out is who knows. But it clearly wasn't something just off the cuff that he said. He definitely had it, like, rehearsed and memorized.
I personally like this episode because it really gives us an insight into Ezekiel, which we haven't had really an episode dedicated on Ezekiel, really.
Yeah, we don't know much about him.
We know a few things from his interactions with Carol and a few other people, but mostly through Carol. But this was nice to finally get kind of a full Ezekiel episode and kind of see how he's going from here. And again, kind of shows that he is just a regular dude, and he is just putting on a persona.
Right.
And we start to see the cracks in that.
It made him a completely dynamic character.
Yeah, it gave him some change that he hasn't had throughout the episodes. I mean, he's just been kind of this very eccentric, just, I guess, play man, whatever they're
Zookeeper.
thespian. Yeah, zookeeper. Which that was kind of interesting. What did you guys think about the zookeeper backstory thing with Shiva?
Has that been talked about in the series before?
Not that I know of.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure I knew that already. Whether I heard about it in the comics or whatnot.
Oh,
But
it's definitely been in there, because he talked
Oh,
about
really?
how he got Shiva to Carol and all that, and how he's a BSer.
I was gonna say I thought so.
Oh, well. Guess I'm just not paying as close enough attention as I should be, huh?
Well, I think that's also a good thing to know is that, like, that's how he got the tiger. He wasn't some sort of, like, badass who, like, wrangled a tiger. He went and helped an injured animal who he used to work with, and that's how he got Shiva in his care, and he's been caring or ever since the start of this whole apocalypse thing.
I really liked the when he was running away from the glasses guy, whatever his name was. I don't think we know his name, do we?
I don't think
No,
he had a name.
I think it was Unknown Savior number
Nameless,
3.
yeah, nameless Negan guy.
Mm-hmm.
Negan number 652. And the axe guy came up. I don't remember his name. I know he has a name, but he came up, and
Is it
he was
Jeffrey?
like, "My king."
Oh, what is his name?
Don't
I
call me.
said it when it happened.
Is it Jeffrey?
That's
That's what I think, but I'm not positive.
I don't think it's Jeffrey.
Ah,
Oh, no.
I'm not sure. Regardless, I thought it was interesting to see him say, "Don't call me king." Like that guy with the glasses really got in his head.
Yeah, really
which
just like,
seemed very
you know,
out of
you still led
character.
all these people to their deaths.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting change for Ezekiel. It really gives us like a. It's another thing that adds to the dynamicness of his character, is that he is now like having this thing where it's like I'm not your king. I'm just some guy.
Like, he doesn't even want to be the leader anymore.
Right. Well, now that all this has started, who would be? You know. It's a lot of pressure to have a whole community on you.
yeah, and we've kind of because he's felt like he's been keeping these people safe by putting on this persona, and when he led them into battle, he again had this persona. He's like, I gotta be strong and confident because this is gonna
He wasn't-
get the saviors off our backs and everything.
He wasn't fully ready.
I don't think he fully grasped the concept of people are gonna die, and it was right after this whole thing with everybody dying happened right after he thought he was successful and no one had died.
Well, this could be his first ever like actual fight against other people.
You
No,
know, there was a bit in there where he's talking to Carol, and you know, she's asking him if you've ever really fought before, and he really hadn't.
Yeah.
Also,
And,
it was Jerry.
Jerry. What did I say, Jeffrey?
Yeah, close.
Kind of close.
Depends on how you spell Jeffrey. You spell it with a J or with a G off.
Fair enough.
Anyway. What else happened? We had something about the Ezekiel being very slow but still outwalking walkers.
Yeah,
even
that was
with
a
all
little
of his many
Weird, just how
trips and falls.
I feel like that really just signified just how not useless, but just how the walkers don't really mean much
Yeah.
anymore, unless there
They're not
are
a
like
threat.
a ton of them.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they were being incredibly slow this episode, from what I was noticing.
And those are fresh walkers too. Those aren't walkers that have been out there for
Yeah.
a couple years.
Yeah, that's
Of
also.
course,
what I was
they
noticing.
might be missing limbs from the like the artillery shells. They had some big ass holes in their body.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed is that there were just the bullet wounds on.
I
these
mean,
people
that's
were
a
just
50
massive.
caliber gun.
Yeah,
That's more in
but-
line with what's supposed to happen.
That's true,
Right.
but it was like, it felt like, oh my god, you really kind of got that impact. And I think that's also one of the things that probably set in Ezekiel's mind after that happened, is that my people didn't just get killed, they got demolished and completely, like, wiped out.
Yeah.
And so, it kind of plays back into, like, those huge bullet wounds were, again, like, a big realization for him that he led his people there and they all got killed because he led him there. And now he's starting to think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be a king. Maybe I
yeah.
shouldn't be this group's leader because I got all these people killed and I was supposed to be keeping them safe.
So we had Carol miraculously surviving the artillery rounds.
Yeah, like how did all
So-
that happen? You just like magically
I-
inside.
Everyone died except Carol, Ezekiel, which I understand because they shielded him with bodies. I kind of get that, even though a 50 cal would probably go through multiple people.
It wouldn't surprise me if if Carol held back, but we didn't see that explicitly, so we don't know.
Oh, Carol had in that episode, like where we saw like the gunfire on them, she had actually like gone off already to check the warehouse. She had already gone off because she's like, we got to clear this out, and so he's kind of standing there reveling in the fact that no one had died, and she had already gone off to check the warehouse or whatever they were at.
Yeah, because
Right,
Carol's, smart.
And she's sneaky little Carol. Let's talk about that. How she got up into the ceiling and mowed down like 5 guys in a row and didn't miss a shot.
That hot colat.
That was a little...
I know, she was just like down on the ground, and CJ's like, "Oh, is she in the ceiling?" And I was like, "No way. There's like, how would she even get up in the ceiling, and how would she even hit that shot?" And there she was.
in the ceiling.
I don't understand how she was on the ceiling or anything.
She
like
does a
that,
lot of
but-
magical killing with like the whole like gun in the like underneath her coat and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, where she's
She's a real thinker.
Carol's getting creative with her kills, and this just highlights it.
We also had the return of Innocent Carol, whatever. I'm just a weak woman.
Oh
meme
yeah.
That she's done many a time, and it always works.
Always works.
I was expecting her to stand up when they told her to, and then them just mow her down.
Oh
honestly.
wow. Yeah, that easily could have happened, but plot armor.
Plot armor.
Even though she's not essential to any like overall plot as far
She's
as the
not,
comic
yeah,
books go, because she was dead a long time
Because-
ago.
Everything that happened past the scene with Carol and the guys with them driving away would have happened regardless of whether Carol was there, because we could have just said, "Hey, Ezekiel and Jerry, you got it in my head. Ezekiel and Jerry get away, and Carol dies, and Rick and Daryl still go get the guns out of in the car chase. It all could have worked out. So I don't know. I don't know why they're keeping her. I don't know. I like Carol though as a character.
Yeah, she's
I
she's
honestly
been one of the
enjoyed her.
more dynamic characters in the show. They definitely
Definitely.
made her way better than she was in the book.
And she's definitely more badass. I will say that for sure. Because every time she's on screen, she's always just mowing fools down.
Not
Or
every time. What about the times that she was sad?
well,
Well,
but then that's
she
something
kills
that
people.
that's
It's
a
like, I'm
thing to the
sad,
audience.
HD, and now I'll kill someone.
That's something to the audience. Like, we know who this character is. Why are they acting this way?
Right.
What's she rolling in there?
Right. She's crazy. She's a loose cannon. Definitely one of the more dynamic characters. One of the better characters, I think, as well.
See, I'll be upset if they kill off Carol, but I won't be like broken up about it.
I won't pull a Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn was a little bit extreme. Carol, I think, could go. However, I'm not really looking to see her go though.
I'm not looking to see her go, but if she does go, I get it. Like if they do it in a genuine way and they don't give us a fake out death and then like a season later.
If I just don't get another fake out death, I'll be happy.
Like, if they gave Noah, the death they gave him of him just being shredded,
Yeah,
like, our major characters deserve that kind of death,
just a good, wholesome zombie mauling.
Not just
you
like
know?
being shot and it's just, over or whatever.
Of course, Glenn got a pretty heroic death after the fake out. Like I've always said, though, I wish he would have died originally.
Yeah,
That's just
thinking back, the first time that really got me, and then the second time was like, yeah, okay.
The first time got me. The second time was like they're punching his freaking card. Ain't no way they're keeping him around.
It was better that they did the Abraham first and then pulled in Glenn later in the episode, so you thought that it was just Abraham, and then it's
Right,
like, oh, they
but-
got Glenn too.
Yeah, but like it's almost like they teased him near death, and then they're like, when are we gonna cash in on this Glenn death ride?
Speaking of memorable deaths, we had a death of a beloved character this season, just in this episode. And that was Shiva.
Lord Shiva.
Mm-hmm.
The tiger will be missed, but I can't say that I didn't see it coming. CJ seems to think it was a real tiger.
You gonna
What?
do this meme? You gonna do this meme? It's not funny.
I mean, I think we actually called that either in our pre-discussion about the season or like the first episode.
We definitely
just-
talked about how there's no way that this tiger's not gonna die.
We did talk about, I don't think any of us has had the tiger specifically on a list, but we all agreed that the tiger will go at some point.
And the tiger should have been shot on the initial raid on Hilltop.
But I feel like this was probably a good send-off for her.
I thought it
just
was dumb.
because I thought it... Really? Because I feel
Okay.
it really plays into
So-
Ezekiel
so
and how he's breaking down.
As far as having Ezekiel in this really dynamic story in this episode, the way Shiva went, I'm very disappointed about.
Okay, think of it like this, right? From a symbolic standpoint, Shiva represents the king. Like the glasses guy said, take away the tiger, what are you? You know, I think it shows a progression of what Ezekiel was, dying, and now he will be reformed into a new, maybe less eccentric, crazy guy leader. And maybe he's going to shave the dreads off, really wake up and say, this is war, we need to buckle down. No more playing around, no more, playing zookeeper in my kingdom. It's time to really, really hammer home on this. That's how I took it as a symbolic thing of the old Ezekiel dying.
That's also how I took it, and I feel like that was I felt it was a good way for her to go because, again, it shows that Ezekiel's breaking down. He's not the man who he used to be.
It also, the Shiva gave Ezekiel the sacrifice that he wanted to make for Carol and, that's not Jeff. Jerry.
Now I got Jeff in your head. We might
I
just call
know.
him Jeff from now on.
Yeah, because he was like, go on, I'll hold him off. And they're like, no, this is stupid. You don't need to die like this. And then Shiva was the sacrifice that he was trying to make.
That's the thing. We've seen him and then also other guy in the beginning of the episode who was dragging him off that got shot by glasses guy. So he's already had two people, and all the people that jumped over him when the gunfire went off. All those people died for him. So he's just seeing all these people die for him when he's really he's just some guy.
He might be seeing the death as a sacrifice as the easy way out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to take that road, basically. What do you think, Dale?
I 100% agree with you guys. I'm just saying, like, the actual what happened, I was very disappointed by. Of it just, like, immediately it's like, oh, Shiva's surrounded, no, I guess that's gonna be it. And then, like, a couple minutes later, expected that to happen. Wasn't getting out of that one.
I think it's because I think I enjoyed the death a little bit more because I don't really care too much for the tiger. I cared more about Ezekiel because I thought he was interesting.
Right, I mean, you were just talking about how, like, we need to give our main characters a send-off. That's not a send-off for Ezekiel. That's a send-off for a tiger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
CGI
It's not
tiger.
a
CGI tiger. The real tiger.
CGI thinks it's very real, though.
No, you're right. That's a real tiger.
And they definitely had a bunch of fake zombies, like, rip it to shreds as a live
was a
tiger
very-
is letting it happen.
Yeah, it's an expensive episode for animation.
I have a quick question. How strong are walkers? Because they can obviously fight them off. I don't know if you've ever tried to rip something with your bare hands. I don't know, like live skin. But, like, it's very difficult. So, like, that's what I was just wondering how they got through that tiger's, like, skin just by pulling on it.
Well, they bit it. They might have bit it.
Well, no,
But, like,
if you
they're all
watch them,
radioactive. They
grabbing
were, like,
and they're
half
just
melted.
pulling.
And
Yeah, they're, like, half melted, and, like,
If
Like,
you think
trying
back
to
to
pull apart skin.
season 2, Dale was literally like his insides were ripped somehow. I was always confused about that because it didn't seem like
It's
they'd have the
it's
strength
a
for that.
It's just it's part of the show.
It's a movie thing.
It it's
It's
just
movie making magic.
you just accept it because it's a TV show about zombies. But I just want to bring it up. Like, you ever tried to rip somebody's skin? You gotta get a hold on that. That shit's tight. It's not just loose skin
I
lying
could rip
around.
your skin if I wanted to.
Also, they're eating a lot of hair.
I don't think they care.
Oh, absolutely not. But
Anyway,
I mean, like they got to get through the hair
That's
first,
just-
and then
Oh my god.
That's just my one gripe. Is that I don't. It's not plausible that a decomposed body could rip through another person just like skin and all.
honestly,
I don't-
the tiger should have been able to just like knock them all over. But it's a tiger, and it needed to die.
It didn't have any thumbs
Yeah, you have to have thumbs to matter in this.
in this
this-
universe. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're not gonna get far without thumbs.
That's true. Can't even open doors.
I mean, for what it sounds like from Ezekiel, it's not only his character of King Ezekiel dying, but it also seems to be his past life, what he thought about, the zookeeper, and just some guy. It just shows the significance of him. The old him dying, and the new him isn't just some guy; it's a leader. So I don't know. I thought it was cool. I think there's a lot. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. Who knows? But
Real quick, can we talk about how impractical a tiger would be in the zombie apocalypse in this scenario?
not very. Next question.
Moving on. All right, let's talk about the car chase that Rick and Daryl had with the machine gun, with the artillery gun.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they set up the artillery. They seem to just be able to set up that as artillery in the back of the car just whenever, like in a snap. I don't know what's up with
I
that.
don't know, it took them
I
like
thought
what
that was
5
weird.
guys up in the barn, and then one dude's just like in the back.
Right?
I'm sure one guy could set it up, but he must have been setting it up previous before.
They had
he
to
saw
have
them coming.
seen him setting it up. Right? Like, it's not like he's laying in the back setting up an artillery rifle. Like,
He's not laying down like.
right?
Yeah, so I thought the chase was kind of.
I thought it was anticlimactic. This is the second.
I'm also concerned why the guy in the front seat did not, when Rick pulled up to him, he didn't immediately take out his gun and shoot
Right,
him. He
right.
waited for Rick to
To
then
get in the
climb
car.
into his car, wait till he was sitting in the passenger seat, to then pull out his handgun.
And then Rick was like, "You missed it, buddy," and slapped that shit down.
He could have just like hard braked as soon as Rick was like jumping.
As soon as he touches the Jeep, it's like slam on the brake.
See ya.
Of course, then you got Daryl behind you.
Still, honestly, Rick and Daryl probably both should have died to the machine gun, but
100%.
Yeah,
Especially
I don't know
Daryl.
how they were pinpoint accurate across an entire yard with tons of different people so far away. Rick is like 20 feet behind the truck and he can't hit him.
It's movie making magic.
It is movie making magic. Just- all logic goes out the window when your main characters are on screen.
here's a very slight continuity thing. So last episode, right before Rick shoots the fire extinguisher, Daryl was out of ammo. Daryl apparently found ammo.
That is true.
They also never need
No,
to
because he
reload.
shot that kid.
True.
He definitely found ammo last episode too.
Darn.
And
Maybe
then
he
also,
didn't. You know what though? Maybe he didn't have his pistol on him. We'll go with that because they were using the ARs in the barn. They weren't in the apartment thing. They weren't using the pistols.
Daryl had a pistol in his crossbow. Rick had
Daryl had that
an
big
MP5.
fucking pistol that he picked off that one guy.
That's true. He had that giant pistol. This seemed like a much smaller handgun, maybe reserved for the front of his motorcycle.
Which, he can pick off a guy, while riding a motorcycle, but the guy sitting in the back.
You guys are ruining this for me. I'm gonna go watch my Walking Dead in peace and not talk to you snooty moviegoers.
Just gotta pick apart the logic of a TV show.
How low can you go? The second that Rick went over the edge with the dude in the Jeep, I was like, what even is this, like, fake drama bullshit? And then, like, Daryl's, like, about to cry, and you're like, no, he's not dead. What world are you living in that you think Rick just died?
I thought Rick threw the guy out of the truck, to be honest.
It seemed like either Daryl was about to sneeze, or he had some tears welling. I don't know if you got that. I don't know if I maybe saw it wrong, but it looked like he was about to cry when he saw the Jeep overturned, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure.
I didn't really see that, but I mean, I wasn't also. I kind of wasn't paying attention during that.
Wow.
Because I was watching, but I wasn't really caring because I was like, Rick's not dead, so like, why do I care about this sequence about him going over a railing?
Right.
Like, nothing's happening to him.
Zero threat that Rick died right then.
No.
Zero threat.
I don't know why they even set up
That's
the
what
shot.
I'm saying. I don't get why they faked it like that. Who cares?
We know Rick's not gonna die.
Not like that.
No.
Of course, the show is told from Rick's perspective, right? So, if he dies, I guess that would be the last episode.
That'd be a weird ending. It's just over. His fades to black, the end. With a question mark.
The end.
The
And then
end?
it shows, like, the adventures of Rick Zombie.
And Daryl's just like holding it crying.
Well, next in line it'd be the Adventures of Carl, so we don't want that.
Oh god, we
Oh,
don't want that.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that.
Alrighty, well, I don't know how I feel now. The
Different.
Adventures of Carl just really kind of put a bad taste in my
The
mouth.
Walking Carl.
The Walking Carl.
Carl.
Which, Carl has had one scene this season. Kind of interesting. Actually, a lot of our major characters have had, like, that opening scene, and that's been it.
That's it, yeah. I'm interested to see what goes on. I think it's so interesting that they keep referring to the widow, the king, and Rick. I don't get why they don't have a code name for Rick.
And, I don't know, the douchebag, or Rick the,
The
Prick, or...
douchebag.
Hey, it should be in the prick, right?
Yeah, and the
'Cause
prick.
that's something Negan said many times.
Yeah. Maybe they are saying it, we're just not catching it. Or everyone's fucking up their lines.
They're all saying Rick.
This-
No, it's supposed to be
line is
prick.
prick. Yes. with a
Really?
P.
Because we're talking about Rick. No, I think that also kind of just shows a point that, like, yeah, because Ezekiel and, like, Maggie are just kind of, they're leaders, but they're not, like, the
They're
threat
looking
that
for
Rick is.
like everyone knows who Rick is. Yeah. Predictions for next episode. Dale, start us off.
Did you guys see the trailer for next week?
No.
I did not.
I think we're finally gonna get it.
The Negan episode?
The trailer opened up
Oh.
with Negan grabbing the priest and throwing him to the
Gabriel.
ground. Yeah.
I like the priest more. We can use code names too.
The priest and Lucille's owner. I don't know. The priest and the man who brought his shitting pants.
Well, yeah, I guess we don't need predictions then if we kind of have an idea if it's shitting pants time.
I think it will. They tease some other stuff in there.
Well,
Give us a rundown real quick, Dale.
I don't remember the other stuff, but I think we're gonna see what Rick and Daryl do with the guy that's probably still alive in the truck. I think we're gonna finally
stab-
see what Negan's been up to.
I thought he stabbed him and threw him from the truck. Am I remembering
he
that
didn't
wrong?
throw him from the truck. He stabbed him, and then they both went over the edge.
I thought he rolled out of the car. Am I wrong at that?
I think
Did I not-
so. I think what actually happened was Rick stabbed him. Rick saw what was about to happen. Rick bailed and let the other guy go over the edge. So the guy's
That's what
still
I thought.
in the truck.
Oh, okay. Okay, I don't know why I got that messed up.
I'm excited to see the Negan episode, though.
I'm excited about Negan, and I feel like it's going to focus a lot on Negan I do think there will be a part in the next episode if it focuses on Negan and Gabriel where they're gonna have like a talk and it's gonna be like their conflicting values and they're gonna have like a little back and forth with each other.
Well, I'm thinking like if we get the Negan story and Gabriel dies, I got a point, right? So like that's what we're looking for.
We're looking for another point on Alex chalkboard.
I'm always looking for the extra points. Any closing thoughts?
I really liked this episode. I thought it was a good episode.
I think it picked it up. I will agree with that. Yes. Dale?
Yeah, it was good. I thought.
Awesome.
I think
Brilliant
showing how
insight from Dale,
dynamic of a character Ezekiel can be was very beneficial to the show.
I think it is too. It makes us care.
I liked Ezekiel then. I like him even more now.
Ah, there we go.
There we go. All right.
That's a line to end on.
Yeah, that's the takeaway.
All right. If you like this episode and you like what we're doing with the Walking Dead stuff, go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see this podcast, the previous podcast, or some of our other podcasts on the channel, hit the subscribe button to keep updated with us. Leave in the comments what you thought about this episode, how excited you are to wear your shitting pants for next week, and anything else Walking Dead related. So with that, we'll see you next week.